Welcome to Talks with Dr. Gupta and friends. It's Monday, January 19th, 2026. And if you're just logging in, glancing at the markets this morning, you could be forgiven for thinking everything looks fine. The indices are green. Tech is humming. On the surface, it feels like business as usual. But after tearing through a weekend stack of research from the IMF, the Financial Times, and Brookings, it's clear the reality underneath is far more unstable. It's like the ocean on a calm day. The surface is glassy, but the tectonic plates below are grinding together. And for anyone navigating a career or managing capital in 2026, the rules are shifting fast. Let's start with AI and the labor market. And no, not the hype version. For years, we were told AI would wipe out knowledge work overnight. That didn't happen. Through 2023, 2024, even most of 2025, employment held up. Unemployment didn't spike. Why? Because of labor hoarding. After the pandemic, hiring was painful. Companies were terrified of letting people go, and the tech wasn't ready to fully replace complex work. AI augmented workers. It didn't replace them, but the data for early 2026 shows a clear pivot point. And the group now in the crosshairs isn't blue-collar labor or services. It's white-collar graduates. Brookings economist Molly Kinder highlights the key shift. Employers' stated intentions have changed. For years, CEOs said AI was a co-pilot. Now the mask is slipping. The goal isn't to make junior analysts 10% better. It's to not hire them at all. McKinsey's latest UK job posting analysis confirms it. Roles with high AI exposure are seeing a sharp, statistically significant decline. This isn't mass layoffs. It's something more structural. Economists call it blocking the entry path. If the bottom rungs disappear, how do you train future experts? That's the billion-dollar HR problem nobody has solved. But here's the twist. For small businesses, this is a golden age. AI lets a 10-person firm compete with a multinational. Legal, marketing, data, all suddenly scalable. And for workers already in the seat, sentiment is still positive. AI removes drudgery. Humans keep the judgment and strategy. So we're creating a two-tier professional class: hyper-productive incumbents and locked-out newcomers. And that labor shock feeds directly into the markets. The IMF is flashing a warning sign in its latest World Economic Outlook: resilience at risk. Global growth is forecast at 3.3%, but it's built on a dangerously narrow base. The US is the only real engine. Germany, 1.1%. UK, 1.3%. The US, 2.4%. And almost all of that momentum comes from AI-driven tech investment. IMF chief economist Pierre-Olivier Gourinchas calls the market frothy. Not a bubble, but close. If AI productivity gains disappoint, the IMF estimates a 0.4 percentage point hit to global growth, instantly. That's recession territory. The world economy has put all its chips on one number, and that table is in Silicon Valley. Now let's zoom out. The second force reshaping 2026 is something straight out of a history textbook: neo-mercantilism. According to Martin Wolf at the Financial Times, this is now the dominant global operating system. Here's the difference. Old globalization was built on comparative advantage. I make cars, you make wine, we trade, everyone wins. Neo-mercantilism flips that logic. Trade becomes zero-sum. If you win, I lose. National security beats efficiency. Trade surpluses beat global welfare. It's economic warfare by another name. And the data is stark. China's trade surplus has hit $1.2 trillion, roughly 6% of GDP. The US response is no longer free trade. Average US tariffs now sit around 14.4%, the highest since World War II. One side floods the world with subsidized goods. The other builds tariff walls. But here's the underreported consequence. This isn't just about containers and commodities. It's changing who gets to lead companies. A decade ago, foreign-born CEOs were celebrated. Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai. Global talent was the American dream. In 2026, nationality is becoming a liability. Executives like Raj Subramaniam at FedEx and Lip-Bu Tan at Intel have faced political attacks tied directly to perceived foreign ties. Boards are now asking uncomfortable questions. Does this hire attract scrutiny in Washington? Does this background make us vulnerable? The era of the global citizen CEO is fading. The era of the national champion has arrived. Corporate leadership is being fenced off, not optimized. Nothing illustrates this better than the third story in our stack. Greenland. Yes, Greenland. President Trump has once again pushed to acquire the island, citing Arctic security, rare earths, and military positioning. This time, when Denmark and the EU said no, the response wasn't rhetorical. It was tariffs, threatened against the UK, France, and Germany. And Europe isn't laughing this off anymore. A red line has been crossed. The question being asked in European capitals is simple. Can you trust a NATO ally who threatens economic warfare over an island? But here's the irony. Greenland isn't powered by mining. Mining is tiny, its economy runs on fishing and Danish subsidies. And the labor? Not American, not even local. It's Filipino and Southeast Asian migrant workers, over 1,000 of them, keeping fish factories and restaurants running inside the Arctic Circle. The island nationalists want to seize for security depends entirely on the very global labor flows they usually condemn. It's not a poker chip. It's a fragile, deeply globalized system, and this pressure isn't confined to Europe. Vietnam, now facing 20% US tariffs, is pivoting hard toward domestic resilience. Exports are no longer reliable. The global trade model is fracturing into regional blocks. So what's the signal beneath all this noise? 3 new rules define January 2026. Rule 1. AI has changed what work is valuable. Information processing is commoditized. Judgment, strategy, and human trust are the premium. Rule 2. Nationalism now shapes leadership. Your passport matters in the boardroom again. Rule 3. Trade is a weapon, not a bridge. Supply chains can be cut overnight, for political reasons. So the strategy shift is clear. Resilience beats efficiency. For professionals, be the pilot, not the autopilot. For leaders, stress test everything. What happens if talent dries up? What happens if tariffs hit tomorrow? And before we go, one final thought. The entire global economy is leaning on the assumption that AI will deliver massive productivity gains. So ask yourself, what happens to your industry, your company, the day Wall Street decides those expectations were too high? When the hype fades, who's still standing? Something to think about as you start your week. We'll be tracking it all. Thanks for listening. Stay sharp. Stay focused. Happy new thinking.